that, at least from my experience, if you need to pull your units back to stop Reaver drops, do it, because when he destroys your economy with that Reaver, you're going to feel terrible having not pulled back those units. You won't be able to come back from it at all. Your economy is a pretty big deal. Units cost money, I know, and losing units or losing ground is bad, but don't let your economy get destroyed. Um, he's not doing anything with his Reaver right now. I think I'm not sure what's drawing him away from that. You'd think he'd. If I remember correctly, he had 104 APM this game, so I think that should be sufficient to be doing more than I see him doing. He's got himself supply stuck now. That's unfortunate for the Protoss player. Um, and I'm starting to stream out more units. I just want to get back into the position I was in, sort of. I was counting on him having a low APM, and it wasn't really that low. 104 is nothing to be sneezed at, but I was hoping that I'd be able to overcome his APM while he was microing his Reaver. I knew that he was moving this around, looking for an opening. I had a bunch of turrets up, so I felt pretty safe. And I was hoping that while he was doing that, I could sort of get my army up in time to come and break his natural once again. And get back into the position I was in before. His base hasn't really changed much, so it's actually funny that I'm saying it that way. Really, he's reset to where he was when I first broke his natural, and maybe that contributed to what we're going to see soon when I make my second push toward his base. It's almost like we have a second timing push happening here. Um, I've got a large number of vultures. I'm very wary that he's got DTs. I want to be ready to lay mines, and I've seen how my ability to control my vultures and my mines has done something for me already in the past in this game. I've been able to push him back with the mines to slow him down from firing on my units. So again, trying not to double queue. We're going to see that some of these queue late, but I was pretty successful at not double queuing, which is good for me. This was actually a couple days ago that this game happened, and today I was practicing. Unfortunately, I just did not do too well. I think it was just not a good day for me. But I felt that a lot of the practice that I had in the past was helping me mechanically. It was just that today, tactically, I couldn't keep up. And I did keep actually screwing up build orders because my mechanics got so set on builds like FD that when I went for Siege Expand, I would mistake the build order. Even though it's similar, things like forgetting your wall in just ruin that. But I'm very aware that forgetting my wall in is something I often do, and often I'll just go FD if that happens. I like FD. I'm very comfortable with FD, and it worked pretty decently this game. Maybe better than it should have because of what he did, but it worked, so I'm happy with that. We're seeing my push now, and I want you to keep an eye on these vultures. This is something that I actually was very happy with myself for, and maybe somebody will actually agree that this is something that should be copied. My control on these vultures, I think, was stupendous. Not to toot my own horn, but just watch. Pretty soon we're going to see what happens. I don't know how I magic boxed that. When I was sending those vultures to lay those mines, I was almost certain that those mines were not going to lay. I thought it was just going to lay one mine. You know, magic boxes, if you click inside the box that you can select with, only one will lay because they all try to lay in the same spot, but I actually laid these mines awesome. Maybe a little too close to my tanks, but again, remember, he hasn't got a lot of zealots, so in that position I could afford to lay them close to my tanks because he's not going to get the zealots in there to mine drag me with. I really want to worry about keeping his dragoons away from me so that I can siege him. His unit count is pretty terrible. It's again probably these low numbers of gateways. Ooh, pulled the screen over there. He's trying to get units out, but just not enough gateways to deal with what I'm sending at him. Siege tanks with that siege ability, a lot of players will even call them unbalanced. They can handle great masses of units larger than you have, just because of that splash damage and the large amount of damage that they do. 70 damage from a siege tank shot and with upgrades even better. We're gonna see, this is TvP. I didn't have any upgrades. That's another thing I should have thought about. I'm so used to getting shut down early that I think once I get past the point where I've laid my new factories, I get so worried about whether or not I'm going to get killed in my microing that I forget I need an academy, I need an engineering bay, I need two armories, I need to start getting a spaceport because you need those upgrades and you need to be able to react when the other player starts getting better units and going for more units and teching up. He's got a DT here. I noticed that and comsetted it. I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm very aware that he went for that the first time. Fooled me once. I'm not going to get fooled again. Um, yeah, this is where the replay is starting to come to the end. We're going to see him leave soon. He realizes there's not much he can do. I think I've made my point pretty clear that at my level of play, getting to this mid game is sort of a big deal for me, and I will forget a lot of my later units that I need to make the mid game successful. Right now, we're not necessarily in the mid game. Before I was when I lost my first push, and I really need more things to make that successful, and I wasn't getting them, and a lot of other players weren't getting them. I think in games that I saw casted. So think about this as well, because this will be a really useful thing for you if you can make sure that you get everything on time even after your initial build order is done and even after the point where you've started getting your units out. Don't rely on your micro completely. I did that and we saw what happened. So thank you for watching, and I'll be making more.